Is that so?
What so?
Do you want to say that again?
I live on planet Earth in 2021. Of course I don't feel well. What you mean, don't go outside if you're not feeling well? Who the fuck can feel good right now? God damn it. Cut!
The circus that my father lived with in England was like, or worked with in England, that I usually visited them like in summers, going like to England for 3 months, touring with them. And I was like sort of assistant sound engineer there, so they taught me a lot. And that circus was like a contemporary circus, so they had like lots of visuals, and it was no animals, it was like visuals and art and like really new way of doing circus. No Fit State Circus, the company there, was sort of the inspiration for Circus du Coeur here.
Oh wow!
And they're from Wales from the beginning, and they've grown really big now. Now they have like 5 shows touring around. Not now, but usually. And but when they started out, it was like a small tent for 200 people. Now they have like huge shows going.
Wow. So your dad is a musician?
My dad was composing the music for them for 10, 15 years almost.
What kind of music does he do, like rock or?
No, the music there is more like, I mean, it's sort of a mix of jazz, Balkan, circus, gypsy, like
fun stuff.
Like if you put Frank Zappa in Amélie Montmartre, sort of, you know, you like get these weird. And he's a great musician, really good musician. Plays saxophone, like piano, accordion, and sings. So I got like this inspired by all these different art forms, like coming together, sort of, and it's like sort of a club. Also, you have all these impressions and visuals and the feeling of how do you feel when you're there, how it's the room, and how you can work with an audience.
Exactly. How to work the people.
Yeah, how to work the people and put on a show.
Yeah, exactly.
And that environment was really inspiring, and getting to like live with all these strange acrobats and weird people, and gave me a lot those years when I was visiting that a lot. And we usually also went to Glastonbury Festival in England, and first it was with the circus, but later on my dad was hired as like the boss for one of the clubs there. So I went there and started. This was about 2011, 12, I think.
Okay.
And I went there and I started DJing at that club in Glastonbury, and that was more like soundscape, ambient, DJing, and so I really got to explore, because I'm listening to all kinds of music. Like I said, I didn't really fit into the rock scene, because at the same time my like favorite artists are like Tom Waits and Nick Cave and a lot of trip hop. But Tricky is a big inspiration, and I like Brian Eno and his ambient music. And so at Glastonbury I had to like find music that was alternative, like more ambient and experimental music. So I started like exploring different things. Like I explored rock music, heavy rock music, and ambient and trip hop and dub, and then at the same time techno. So it's got a lot of collecting music through the years. And I met Anthony in, I think it was 2010 or 11.
This is Anthony Drone.
Anthony Drone, yeah. And first it was supposed he asked me if I could like book rock bands to a venue that he was opening.
Was this the first Aftermath?
It was the first Aftermath
in Bromma.
Yeah,
I remember that place.
And we started having meetings, and his and our energies were really good together at the time, and that venue that he had found was supposed to be a venue that like a lot of organizers were sharing, but while building it up, people were arguing and not really getting along.
Yeah, I was there for the whole thing. Yeah, I experienced that too. Yeah,
they had one of the first parties there.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think it ended up with like, in a month we're gonna open, and it's just me and Anthony there.
Yep.
So we're like, okay, let's then we do it.
Yep.
And that started our like 4-month journey of doing. I mean, we did. I think I was awake for 4 months, almost. We started after a couple of months. We started telling each other like, okay, you do the Friday shift.
Yeah.
You go home Saturday day, and I come, and then you. But we never did that.
No.
We just said, you're the main now, and I'm the main now.
Yeah,
we never went home, so it's like it was fun 4 months, and.
I was there in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I helped to put like the stuff together because he asked me if I wanted to help out. So I came down and I did like I saw the chaos that was there basically.
Yeah.
I saw like him and what was this Martin Gold, whatever that guy's name.
Gullberg, yeah, Martin.
Gullberg, exactly. They couldn't decide on anything.
No.
Anthony wanted to go out and get a bunch of mattresses for the walls to keep the sound in. And I was like, dude, if you're going to do that, that's on you. You know what I mean? I know how much work that was going to be just to collect the mattresses to cover that whole big space. So after a while, I was like, okay, guys, I volunteered to take care of the outside part.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be summertime. I knew there was going to be a lot of people coming down. And people don't really want to be inside in the summer, especially not in the basement.
And we had this big, like, altan.
Exactly, like a big balcony outside. Yeah. And so I went out there and I was like, okay, my first objective was try to keep the people that was outside from seeing in. So you could be outside and enjoy the outside weather, but the people that was, walking by, or the buses or whatever that was going by,
they were not supposed to
couldn't see in. So I got like this transparent cloth. Remember that thing that was hanging there for a while?
Yeah.
So like this transparent from one side. You could see out, but people couldn't see in. And I painted the floor, did all this furniture and all this stuff. And literally, I think after that first party, we got into an argument.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't fuck with you no more.
No.
I cannot be here. That guy, he was such a...
He was hard.
He was an egomaniac in some ways. It's like, dude, just listen to the people around you. And especially if you're not sleeping.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that disconnects you from normal feelings of like...
from reality in some ways.
But me and him, we went along there.
Yeah.
We went along and we did, I mean... loads of parties, and a lot of DJs that are like established now started playing there. I mean, Jesse Granqvist.
Jesse, that was one of the first.
We found her in F12.
Really?
Yeah, we were at F12 and we saw it was sort of me and Anthony. We had this idea of like, we're gonna go and check out the clubs in town, see what the vibe is and what we have and what they have. So we went like Stureplan, all the clubs, and we went at F12. And we saw this DJ, she was playing really good music, but no one was dancing. Everyone was thinking of something else. So we went up to her and said, would you like to come and play at our club?
Yeah.
And she played, and then she played every weekend after that.
Yeah,
she was like resident directly. And so she was schooled there in the beginning.
Exactly.
And a lot of other people played there. And then it went on from that. I sort of made my name in the scene over there, I think. And then after a couple of years of aftermath, Anthony was more aiming for, like, he wanted to go big and more psytrance, and his goal was like, I want to make a huge festival. And I was more like, well, for me, techno and underground is a sweaty basement, 6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't really have a higher goal to establish than that, really. It was I like that dark psychedelic morning shift, so I always got the last play last at all the parties. It's like 8 to 10 every time, and that sort of also like my style of music got like pushed in a direction, like more like hypnotic and maybe a bit more psychedelic than
A bit more
other
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, for me personally, I know that I feel like it's hard coming from... I also have a mixed background in music and stuff like that. My mom used to be a music teacher. We had shitloads of music around my house all the time. But I really feel like it's difficult for me to play this very monotonous, monotone music because I get bored of it. You know, even if the crowd is rocking, I kind of feel like I also want to have some fun. You know what I mean? So you play, I think I find it more interesting with more like psychedelic, more complex electronic music, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it is from that background. When you have all that stuff in you, it's kind of hard to kind of
you need some wildness in it.
And
Wow, these are like hand drawn.
yeah, I was doing it in my left hand,
Wow.
so it should look a little bit childish. And then it was like house and techno.
Fantastic.
And all the people on the drawing is the people that was on the club.
Brilliant.
It got more and more crowded here, as you can see. First it was not so many.
On Wednesdays too.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah.
What year was this?
This must have been, I think, maybe 93 or something. So we did, I had really fun with this. I was just like drawing all the persons.
Fantastic.
This is A playing. And this is the owners looking there going like, what the fuck happened to our bar? Yeah, we had this like special go safari. And I was having really fun at the
Fantastic. Who'd you say it was? Camilla who?
Enemark.
Who's that?
Camilla Enemark from Army of Lovers.
Oh, that's the one that had the affair with...
Yeah, the black one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right? They had an affair? Her and
The what?
Did they have an affair? Supposedly?
Who?
Oh, okay, sorry.
You don't really know, but like, when do you think techno started really like? When people started doing raves in Stockholm, any idea? Like, when was like? Could you say like the first year? What group it was? Or, like, you think?
For me, it's hard. I mean, there were raves. 1990, I know. I think there was even one 89. But I don't think it really, to the majority of the people of Stockholm, it really didn't pick up until 93, 94. That's when. But before that, we were a little clique of people who just really, really liked us. You know, the whole, yeah.
Fantastic. But like, was a lot of people doing parties then? Was it like a lot of crews, or was it just you and Dana and the guys?
Oh, it was a couple of crews, yeah. It was. I know Mikkel Eklöf did a bunch of parties.
This Mickey, Boston Mickey.
Yeah,
Seriously?
Bros Mickey, yeah.
Wow.
He did a Halloween party that was a weekend, 2 days straight in a warehouse. Absolutely crazy.
A rave.
Yeah, down in Hammarby Sjöstad as well. Yeah, the big one. And it was absolutely crazy. It was so cool. I mean, it went on for 2 days.
I'm gonna have to
They
ask.
had a break, but day 2, it continued. So people actually went home to someone, rested or after partied, and then came back and danced their head off. And my legs have never hurt so much in my life. I've never danced so much, I couldn't walk in stairs because, my calves, they hurt. When I tried to walk down the stairs, walking up was no problem, but down. So, damn, I danced a lot then. Those days.
I'm gonna have to ask him about that when I see him. Or when I interview him, actually.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that. In Stockholm, or at least you were in Paris first.
Yeah, I was in Paris, and that's why I want to say that this clubbing thing, I was, I was going to school in the daytime, and after school I went to dance classes. That was for fun.
Okay.
And all my socializing was at Bandouche,
Okay.
Les Bains. It's one of the most famous clubs in Paris.
Okay.
It's in an old bathhouse, like they have a swimming pool inside, and it looks like a bathhouse.
Fantastic.
Yeah, like all the famous people have been going there. Like you met Grace Jones and Prince and.
Fantastic. Have you met Prince?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like in the 80s, 90s?
It was in the 90s.
Wow.
My boyfriend there in Paris, he was working as an assistant to réalisateur.
Okay.
And he was working on the film with Prince.
Purple Rain?
Yes, must be with the one with the kiss.
Is that what it was called? Purple Rain? No. Was that movie called Purple Rain?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I gotta check that. I love Prince.
Time in your kiss.
Yeah.
He wrote that song like in an hour.
Oh, wow.
They needed one more extra song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't there for that, were you?
No, but I was around as my boyfriend was working on the movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I met my boyfriend at the film with Roman Polanski.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Frantic.
What's...
With Frantic with
the movie Frantic.
Yeah, with
Okay.
what Indiana Jones? What's his name again?
I don't remember. Who was...
Indiana Jones.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, with Harrison Ford.
Yep.
He's really tall.
Really?
Really big. I met him too.
Oh, you haven't seen that.
I'm actually in the film really quickly. No, they were shooting a scene in the Bandouche, the club. In the movie, it's called The Blue Parrot.
Okay.
So one day they had this audition.
Yeah.
All the people that was hanging in this club. And there I met my boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to see if we can track down that one little
Yeah, very quickly.
that you're in somewhere. Fantastic. This is one of the reasons I wanted to do this, because it's like we've known each other for a long time, but there's so many sides to all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nice to get to sit down and really interview, because you never really interview your friends. If something comes up, it comes up and you talk about it.
Yeah.
But these things, I think it's necessary to kind of for all our sakes, to kind of document the things that we've been through and what's getting us to this point. What's the kind of people and the experiences that the people have brought in that help to make this scene what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. There's so many different characters, so many different experiences that mix together to make this what it is.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. No, so now when I was in Paris, I was like in school or at the clubs. So I thought one day when I was not working with theater, okay, I spend all this time on clubs.
Okay.
And so I thought that was like kind of school too. Club school.
Exactly. Apprenticeship. I'm on a study break. Not study break. How do you say it? Study trip. I'm here to check things out.
Yeah. So I've been to all the amazing clubs in Paris.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back to Sweden, I mean, Sweden was a little bit backwards when it came to the scene.
Yeah.
All the clubs was, not all the clubs, there were many clubs also that was fun. But my big inspiration to start with the rave or the techno scene was actually I was in Ireland playing theatre at the Blue Raincoat Theatre Company. And one day we went to North Ireland to go to a rave at Port Rush.
Okay.
And that was fun.
Okay. Was it big? Was it like thousands of people? Or?
No, it's really funny. It's like you go to Northern Ireland, like you totally don't talk about religion, politics, or sex. I was like, rich. and we went to see, like, the guy in Northern Ireland, and said, don't tell you are Protestant. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
No, Port Rush is it's a good surf place, but it's also like a full with hotels. It's like a holiday place.
Okay.
So this was in a hotel, and it's really weird. It was like full with stuffed animals, like very funny. So a lot of people checked in at the hotel, and then they had a building next door, like huge dance hall, and they started like now really early in the daytime and finished very early.
Yeah.
So, but I had a really good time. Really good time. And then I went to a couple others in Ireland, and what amazed me there, that was such a big mix between the age. There was not only one age, it was like older, younger, and they were dancing and partying together, and I really liked the vibe.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So when I came back to Sweden, I was going, okay, and I had this little cassette that they record for me, so I was listening to all the time when I was cycling. Right? So I decided I wanted to start a techno club. I call it techno. And at this point, I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
So I interviewed this guy called Saxman. It was like one of the first DJ, and it's really funny. You should see my first flyer. I wrote. He was educating me what all the different style was, what it meant, and so. And on one flyer, I wrote all the names there. It looks really funny. And so he was one of my first DJ, and then I went into this.
Before you go further, do you mind saying what year this was? Do you remember what year this was?
This must be in like 91, 92 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you and Saxman started doing clubs?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was walking around. This was the time of the flyer.
Okay.
This was one part of doing clubs that time. It was so funny to do these flyers. It was like an art project every week. And I really enjoyed to walk around in different clubs in Stockholm and like hand out flyer.
Yeah, it's a reason to get to know new people.
Yes. And it was like dressing different depending on which club it was.
Okay.
Just to get really wide, lot of different people into my clubs. I had some small projects, but the first really one was called Feed Your Head.
Okay.
And I walked into this cafe, like flipper hall called Tilt Bar, I think.
Okay.
Just at Östermalmstorg over there. And I was like checking out, okay, I need to, they were all DJs. So I kind of like went up to Damien Johnson, AM.
Okay.
And asked if he wanted to do a club with me.
He was already DJing before that?
Yes, they had Age of Love and all these clubs. They were a group of guys. They were all really good DJs, and they still are really good DJs. And so my thing, I was coming from Paris.
Yeah.
First time I went to a rave in Sweden, I was like walking for ages through the wood and we get lost and we're like, what the fuck is the thing? We go, let's not come from here and from here. And when we finally get there, you know, we were sitting down on a stone, just open up a bottle of wine. There was like this police force.
Oh, Jesus.
With like black shields, like entering, you know,
like riot shields.
Yes, and you know, you're always like, what the fuck is happening here?
Wow.
So, me coming from Paris, I wanted to have a place more like central and a bar because I like to have beer and didn't want to be up in the woods. So that was my concept. I wanted to have a techno bar. Mm-hmm. So I started up at Norrlandsgatan in the middle of Östermalm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of downtown.
Yeah, because I was hanging out at the clubs in this area at that time.
What was the name of this club that you started? Was this the Feed Your Head?
Yeah, that was the Feed Your Head, and it was on a place called A-bar, Norrlandsgatan.
Actually, before we get into that, how about the Svartadoren, that project in Solna?
Yeah, that was the part when I stopped working with Aftermath. I was looking for something that could be my own thing. I was looking for a venue, and I worked at. I mean, after the base, at the time I met Anthony, at the same time when we started Aftermath, I started working at Slakthuset. And first I was supposed to work there as like organizing rock events, and I got all these like contacts through the techno scene, and they saw me as this rocker, and maybe they thought I had more pull in the rock scene than I really had. So I got offered this job at Slakthuset doing rock events. That was like really big. And that was Angela from Kolingsborg who introduced me to Jocke Heinemann. So I worked with Slakthuset the first 2 years before it crashed.
Before it crashed the first time?
Yeah. So at the same time as working with Anthony and Aftermath, I worked at Slakthuset. And I ended up doing a couple of rock events that, I mean, at the time I was like, I want to bring everything in, so I brought in like lots of bands, and I had one night with this group from England called Cheap on Drugs, like an old industrial legend group, really cool band, and I have this really fun story when they came, and this was for me like booking idols for me. I was like, wow. And they're gonna live at my place. I had this big apartment in Bagarmossen, a 5-room apartment. So I asked them, it's like, is it okay? I have 2 rooms here. They had a manager, and there was 2 people in the band. And they came, and this story is pretty funny, because we were like, yeah, they came to my house, and suddenly I have these people in my living room. And I'm like, shit.
These people I admire.
Yeah, I admire them. I've been listening to their music for 10 years, and they play this like techno, punky, it's like Sex Pistols, Prodigy, but really sleazy music, like really English, really proper English, and all the lyrics was about like Slim Jim, king of the speed scene, the fastest man alive, and just before we were going to soundcheck at Slakthuset, they asked like, oh, do you have some amphetamine or something? I'm like, yeah, sure. And the guy I live with, he had like, Ossian, I left 2 bags in my room, and you can take whatever you want. And like, okay. And one was ketamine, and one was amphetamine. This is classic,
typical.
Yes.
Typical.
So I took the wrong bag, and I didn't realize it first, and he made his like huge lines for them. I mean, they were like old school party people, so they made huge lines. I booked a cab, and then I hear Lee from Sheep and Drugs saying, "Man, this is not fucking amphetamine. This is ketamine. I can feel it." And I'm like, "No, shit." And I also had a huge line.
Wow.
And I tried, like, to be responsible and, like, have these people in my apartment, but we went into K-hole completely.
Shit.
But not the manager. He was like, he didn't take anything.
Yeah.
He was like, he was Scottish, only whiskey. So me and 2 members of Sheep and Drugs were just like lying down, and I cancelled the cab. I called the sound technician. I'm like, "We're gonna be 1 hour late,
At least
1 hour late, but we'll be there. Just chill, prepare." And then we went. I managed to do those 2 calls, cancelling cab and the sound technician, and then I just went out of it. And we came out of that, had some water, and like, okay, we were all right. I was lucky these guys were like
pros.
Yeah, they're pros. Had it been anybody else, it could have been a disaster and everything. Like, and then we went to soundcheck and had a really good night. And I got a letter from them later, and like long letter thanking for all the weekend, or email. And in the end, thanks for the special K treatment. Well, that was one of my first nights at Slakthuset, and they performed. And there was this other band called Pain Machinery. And we had these, I was telling, I was like putting in everything into one night. So I had these people doing hooking up in the skin.
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
Suspension.
Suspension, yeah. Live to Pain Machinery, because they were like the warm-up band for Sheep and Drugs. So I had this angel in hooks on stage and bleeding everywhere.
Wow.
But
real
not
blood.
many people. I think 100 people came or something.
Was it real blood?
Yeah.
Oh.
They did it live on stage.
Wow.
They put in the hooks and everything while they were playing. Like,
wow.
And Jocke was like, "Okay, but I like this guy. He's crazy." So, but I ended up like DJing a lot there and working in a bar. And and Aftermath at the same time, so it was a lot going on then. And later on, when Slakthuset had crashed, they went into they had these people working at Slakthuset they didn't pay anybody in the end, and it was a lot of economic problems, and the venue had to get a new owner and stuff. I stopped working there, and I had lots of money that I lost also when they closed. So I had to get a more stable job. So I started working at Restaurang Landet in Telefonplan as a bar manager over there. And there was this guy called Martin who was hanging out in the bar there, and I knew he was working as a guard at a lot of black clubs or underground clubs, and he was involved in Norberg Festival and stuff like that. And so I asked him if he knew of any venue, and he said it was sort of perfect timing, because I was looking for a new club for myself, so he introduced me to Svarta Dörren, and they had been had that venue for 5 years by then. And it was a kulturförening with lots of people, but they all had dropped off. So he was there by himself with this venue, and he didn't have time to do it, organize it. And they really didn't have any techno parties. They were more a venue for the music that doesn't get played anywhere else. So it's noise, gabba, weird nights, really strange nights over there. But he said I could do okay, you can do a techno party here, because he saw me also not part of the whole techno scene. He didn't want the whole techno scene to come there, and I wanted to start something different. And the name Självmordskollektivet came up, and the Suicide Collective, and that name came because Jocke Heinemann, who had Slakthuset, when they closed, and I started working in Landet, and when they were gonna open again, he was like, "Ossian, do you want to have a club here now when we're opening?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." I started thinking of a concept for Slakthuset, And I remember that in the first 2 years of Slackters, they had clubs like Fucking and Punching and all these really like in-your-face names.
Yeah.
And I thought Slackters would continue that. And I thought, what's the worst name I can think of? So like Suicide Collective in Swedish, Självmordskollektivet. And we did one night there. But then the lights went on at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, no, this is not what I want to do.
No.
I can't do this. We barely started. I felt like, and at the same time, I was looking for an underground venue. So, and I talked to Martin, and then I moved the whole concept to Svarta Dörren instead, and that started a 2-year journey over there.
2 years you guys did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2 years, I didn't want to do it every month, so I did it every second month.
Okay.
We had, when you were there, really good nights. And
I was actually on permission then.
yeah, you had just come out from.
I wasn't even out. I was still in the halfway house.
Oh my!
Yeah, like literally, I had I think it was 48 hours.
Yeah.
That night or those 2 nights. So I went to a friend Luddes to his housewarming party. Left straight from his housewarming party. Came and played with you guys.
Shit, I don't remember this.
I kept it secret. That's when the people knew what was going on. And then hung out with this girl I was dating at the time, and then went straight back to my halfway house the next day.
Shit.
Yeah.
How long were you there for after that?
I think I still had, this was maybe December, yeah?
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah. I think I had maybe 3 months left. I got out in March, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So you got out like into that and then back.
I actually went straight from jail a couple of times.
Yeah.
And
to a club.
And played, well, yeah, I played Slack Two-Step once.
Yeah.
With a bunch of guys from Berlin. And then I played this Sotheby Juan one time. Yeah. Aya and the gang. Sarah, the rest of Funny Bunny. It was a Funny Bunny party. Came out, went to my daughter's mom's house, downloaded a bunch of music because I had lost all my music. I lost everything when I was away. Lost everything, so I downloaded a bunch of music on Friday. Went to the party, played Friday night. Went back in Sunday morning.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was an adventure. But you worked with, it was just you at Svarta Dörren?
It was me and, I did, Ola Goethe was, because I wanted someone, it's good when you organize, you need someone to, like, I have, like, a bolla idea.
Yeah,
like,
bounce ideas.
Bounce ideas, yeah. And Ola Goethe was someone I got to know, and we're really close friends now, still. And so we did it together, and in the end it was like they were rebuilding. They wanted to cancel the contract of Svarta Dörren, and Martin then, because it was still really strict that venue wasn't supposed to do a lot of techno parties. Maybe we should take a break now.
Oh, someone's coming.
Nice.
I really liked that because I was so inspired when I've been in England and so on, and even heard, on tapes and so on, how US radio could be in the States, and in England and UK they had a lot of pirate stations, and they had this kind of, they threw out jingles. It was like, yeah, welcome to the it was kind of I like the whole, the concept and talking, introducing, playing your favorite music and all that. And I really enjoyed to hear. Actually, this is so ego, but in a sense, in those days, I really liked to hear my own voice because but the thing was, it went through a compressor.
Okay.
So it got this more kind of
sharper.
Yeah,
better.
The voice sounded and it was really cool. So welcome to, I can't remember the name of where me and a friend had a radio station. We did 1 hour once a week. Then I played for a couple of others in Stockholm called MRS and.
Okay, what year is this now?
85.
Wow. Okay.
And I really liked that. If I would have held on to that, maybe who knew, I could have had a career within, when the radio waves got released.
Yeah.
Because, in those days, it was only Swedish radio that was allowed to broadcast. And
One radio station?
They had 3 channels.
Okay.
P1,
Wow.
P2, and P3.
Okay. Wow.
Later
So
on came
commercial.
P4, yeah. Non-commercial.
No commercial channels?
No commercial channels. It was against the law.
Okay, what year was this? Until what year?
Yeah, still mid-80s.
Wow.
So I don't think it was until the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s when they actually started selling out the different wavelength so that's when you got Energy and Power and so on, all these commercial radio stations. That's when they did it at the same time when they released the whole television thing as well.
Okay.
We only had 2 channels in the 80s.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you had TV3, TV4, TV5, and etc. etc.
Actually, I think I met a guy in the place where I worked in New York, and he was explaining that to me. Actually, he was telling me that there was they were going to start having more TV stations in Sweden.
Yeah.
Just randomly, he started telling me. I guess it's because I used to look at TV back then too.
They made a decision to let's auction this the different frequencies. So they allow private contractors to start radio stations and so on. So I think if I hold on to that, just continue, maybe I would have a job in that, But like I said, techno got its claws in me, and from there, I wish I still would have done that because then maybe could have the techno radio station during the 90s.
Not too late, bro. It's internet. It's internet time now.
Yeah, I know.
You just gotta start doing it.
Yeah, I've been doing some shoutcasting, in the early 2000s.
Shoutcasting?
Yeah, the program for Windows and called Winamp. The player. Yeah, it also has an add-on called Shoutcast where you could stream what you're playing.
Wow.
So you could, connect it up to, if you had a software mixer and so on, you could play, music. And
really?
So I did that, a little bit, but not a lot of people listening. So
it's kind of hard to get people to listen to radio shows right now because there's so much to choose from.
Yeah, it is.
Even podcasts and all the rest of these things, it's really difficult to get people to be locked in all the time.
Yeah. I noticed that on all these different streams that shows that,
Exactly.
people drop in, drop out.
Yeah.
So it's depending on what kind of stream it is. If it's some major thing, it's thousands.
And it's all over the world.
Yeah.
I think there's no culture for that here, really.
No.
People like to move around, and people's attention span in general is so fucking small.
Yeah.
If you play dance music can kind of grab people, but who's dancing in their house by themselves?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And usually, they drop in, they listen to a couple of tracks, and then let's play. I want to hear this instead.
Yeah, or I need to make some food, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I want to watch my show, or whatever it is. It's like there's so many things happening all the time. I think it's hard to get someone to sit there for an hour and a half, and just listen to your live stream or live set.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult. That's why I try to do something different. Try to add a little bit more, so people are a little bit more interested, so they want to hear the insides of it, because people heard you play a million times, but hardly people
know me.
Know who you are. Exactly.
Yeah, they don't know my history and so on.
Exactly.
That's one of the things I actually enjoy DJing right now is I don't want to be mainstream. I don't want to, I prefer fewer bookings than a humongous amount of bookings.
Yeah. But if you
I feel I could deliver, because I want to feel the hunger before each time I play.
Yeah, a little bit nervous, a little bit stressed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But if you could play exactly what you wanted to play and play all the time, wouldn't you want to do that?
Yes, in a sense. But I think I would grow bored after a while. I need, the hunger. I actually need to feel like, okay, here we go. Yeah. If it just becomes routine, it's just like any other job, and I don't want to see it as any other job. I want to see it as, because that's one of the great things in life. In life, I really truly love, and that's playing. Teaching, playing the music I love.
Yeah.
I'm making people feel what I feel when I hear that track, or so on. Like trying to be the medium. Yeah.
But I mean, like I completely understand what you mean, because I used to DJ for a while, like 5 days a week, 4 days a week at least, and that I hated music after a while. It became a fucking pain in the ass. But I remember, like, I think it was some shit on MTV long time ago. They was interviewing this guy, and he was like, "Oh, poor you, Mr. Superstar, rock star. Oh, you have so many fans, and people always stressing you out, wanting to get to know you, want to hang with you. You have so many options with the girls and the parties. Oh, we feel so sorry for you." His idea was basically like, it's almost disrespectful to the people that have that dream to be that thing.
Do what you do. But
yeah, that want to do what you do.
Yeah.
That when you're doing it and complaining about it. You know what I mean? Like, you see rock stars that kill themselves. You even had, what's his name? This superstar DJ from Sweden a few years ago that killed himself.
Yeah, Avicii.
Avicii.
Yeah.
Avicii.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
Anglo-Saxon still.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always as nice as it seems. It's not always as fancy as it seems. It can be stressful, and that thing that you love, that thing that you did just for fun, when it starts to be a job, it can be.
Yeah, it kind of not kills it, but it kind of numbs you in a sense. I mean, if you really want to make it as a DJ, damn, you're gonna have to put in so many hours, and you don't have any privacy anymore. Private life, yes, that could be when you sleep your 8 hours at a hotel room or something like that. But whenever you could walk out that hotel room door, you're committed, and rest of the day, rest of the week, so on. You have to just put everything into it. That's when you make the big bucks.
Yeah, definitely.
But is it worth it?
Yeah. I guess it's up to the individual to decide.
Yeah.
Because
it could be. Yeah.
Privacy is an important thing, and having peace of mind and just having some time for yourself completely. Yeah.
But look at some of these big names, like like you mentioned, Avicii. Then, I mean, he could ask for 100,000.
100, that's nothing.
For one gig.
$500,000.
Yeah, but then every time, you have to deliver. You have to be on your top. You have to, be.
But a lot of times, big DJs like that already have their sets recorded. They just go up there and kind of fake it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them even wear headphones. It's like just play, and they kind of turn some knobs and stuff like that. That's why people think that turning knobs is such a big deal, because that's often what
that's not my thing, For me, no. I want to, that's what I like about the underground scene. We have this crowd that is really open-minded, and they enjoy all kinds of DJs and styles. And so when I start playing, maybe before a gig, I could do a playlist, these songs, because I try to set my mind in how the party's going to be. Yeah. But while I've started, the first couple of tracks, maybe I'm faithful to the list. But then I start, the crowd gives me the feedback, and I realize, okay, this track won't work. Let's try this one instead, and it just rolls on from there.
Definitely.
So nothing fixed, nothing set, in stone.
I try to, I make playlists sometimes too, but what I try to do is, have a set, maybe, the first track. This is the way I want to get people warmed up.
Yeah.
This is how I want to, introduce myself. Then you have a second track that kind of stays with that, but it's kind of building somewhere. maybe a third track, maybe, just to keep the vibe going, just to like start off with the idea that I want, and just to grab the people, and then an ending track. So then I know where all these things are supposed to lead to at the end. But I think it's difficult sometimes, like you said, to have everything set. Because you go there and it's like the crowd's not feeling what you're feeling, or what you thought you were going to play, or your time gets switched.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to play like prime time dance floor, and then before you know you're playing early morning, or you're playing a little bit earlier when there's no people on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so good. You kind of have to have that variety to be able to play.
Interesting, actually, you brought up playing early, the warm-up DJ. Wow, that in a sense is an art form of the South.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, you can't, you have to bring everyone up, but you can't throw your bangers, and make people go crazy because you're warming up to the main act.
For the next person that's
Yeah.
playing, exactly.
So you can't steal the thunder, and
Not only that, but I think it's boring if you go to a party and it's like the first DJ sounds like the last DJ.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's the fun in that? It's like, it should be like a progression, I think. I prefer when you go to a party, it starts off one way and it ends another way. You know what I mean? There's some variety between the DJs. It's like
The ride through the whole
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
It's sometimes you go places and it's like the person that starts sounds like the next person, and the next person that comes on sounds like the next person. It's like there's literally no change between DJs. T podcast coming at y'all from Stockholm, Sweden. Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.